What's up? How you guys doing tonight? All right. So I heard there was a mega march in Washington, D.C. this weekend. I am going to play the clip so you can have content. And for the first time, a heterosexual black male who has a conservative mindset, who did not vote for either candidate, who is not triggered by neither candidate, but I am going to tell you how it is.
It was billed the Million MAGA March. Today, thousands of President Trump's supporters gathered in the nation's capital, many of them refusing to accept that President-elect Joe Biden won the election. CBS's Jeff Pegues was in the crowd.
Today, President Trump's supporters,
we demand the truth,
including the recently pardoned former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
The courts do not decide who the next president of the United States of America will be. We the people decide.
This is the president's loyal base. Not only do they still believe in him, you still believe he won.
Absolutely. No doubt.
They also believe, without presenting evidence, that he was robbed of an election victory.
They felt that the Supreme Court should have at least heard the case.
Among the protesters today, this group of Proud Boys. They say they're anticipating about 700 people here and the possibility of clashes with other groups. Some members of the far-right group raised Confederate flags, while others flashed a hand signal associated with white power. Before the march, Enrico Tarrio, one of the group's leaders, visited the White House. A White House spokesman denied that there was a meeting with the president, insisting that Tarrio took a tour that was open to the public. Are you going to meet with the president? That's the rumor.
No, I'm not going to meet with the president.
There were counter-protesters today, but police say the Trump rally remained mostly peaceful. This is the second largest rally here by Trump supporters since Election Day. Jeff Pegues, CBS News, Washington.
So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, they talked about the march on Washington about Donald Trump. And I am going to go ahead and keep it real. I'm going to keep it nice and hot for you. First of all, they stated that we, the people, decide who's president. That is a lie. That is a lie. Who decides the presidency is based off of the money system in this society, is based off of the current events in this society, and last but not least, agendas are being pushed in this society. Everybody knows this society is being pushed through this vaccine. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris' job is to make sure that everyone is on board and taking the vaccine. The Trump campaign cannot do that. But it's okay. Donald Trump was in office for 3.5, almost 4 years. And all you folks got what you wanted, far as mid-American white males want a president that speaks for them. You got that. So once again, we the people decide who the president is. That is not true. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't have to flip-flop back and forth over who's Democrat and who's Republican every damn 4 years. I call that a damn argument that's not worth having. That's what we have in this society. We fuss, we argue about what candidate is best for the country and what candidate is not. That's what we argue about. So what good is that going to do when we argue and there's no solution in tap? Every 4 years, someone signs a bill just so they can overturn it every 4 years, or maybe 8 years, if they go that far. Next, I want to talk about the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag does not stand for racism. The Confederate flag stands for the Union, where 13 states fought against the international banks that was being brought into this country. That was based off of getting free trade off of the cotton, off of the tobacco, and other crops that was being picked by so-called slaves of all races, not just black people. Had nothing to do with slavery. Slavery was something that was done with all races in this whole society as a whole. So that Confederate flag does not stand for anything. If somebody wants to fly a Confederate flag, that doesn't mean shit to me. Doesn't mean that I'm going to die by somebody lynching me on a tree because someone has a Confederate flag. It has nothing to do with it. You know it, and I know it, but it's a good narrative to push through the liberal social media, and that's what they love to talk about. Every damn thing being racist. Then he talked about the hand signals of white power. Guess what? Black people have hand signals too. It's called the so-called black fist. But nobody complains about that. Now, do they? They did that in the Olympics back in 1968 in Mexico. Black Panther parties and Black Panther movements and other radical movements have also done that. They've done that over the years. So why are we complaining about that now? It has done nothing to you whatsoever. I have nothing against it. So if a white person feels like he loves his whiteness, so be it. I love my blackness. So what's wrong with that? And last but not least, the Proud Boys. Everybody feels that this is a racial thing. So I'm telling you this here, guys. When you decide to do the research on these things I was talking about, a black reporter was out in the crowd interviewing the Proud Boys. Did he feel threatened? Didn't look threatened to me. Was he going to die and get lynched? Didn't look like it to me. You see, the liberal media loves to spin every damn thing as a racial thing. In reality, it's not about a racial thing. It's about people not understanding what the hell is going on around them. You see, Donald Trump was a gift that keeps on giving to the so-called Democratic Party. So every time he said something, everybody took it and ran with it. So now that he's leaving office, all of a sudden now everybody wants to come out and support him. Hate to be ugly since we're going to play this game. Looks like you guys didn't support him in the polls. Now all of a sudden now every damn thing is he's being robbed. No, he's not being robbed. Agendas are being pushed. That's it. He did his time. And now Joe Biden is here to make sure everybody takes the vaccine and do what he's supposed to do. And no, he is not going to defund the police like all you folks over in Seattle and Portland, Oregon talking about. All you Black Lives Matter talking about defunding the police. It ain't happening. Talking about putting a stop on assault weapons. Ain't happening. You know why? Because Joe Biden stated that under executive order, he is not going to undo anything in that turn far as defunding the police and putting a stop to assault weapons. That is what the Democratic Party president said. So a lot of butthurt is happening on both sides right now. You got Trump supporters that's being delusional, and you got black folks who are in the Democratic Party thinking that Joe Biden is going to come and save the day. Guess what? You got a whole bunch of delusional ass folks roaming around in this country protesting and marching and talking about silly shit that it does not even matter. So, it just amazes me on how the media likes to spin things. People are passionate about what they want to do, and that's okay. But let's do it with some common sense. Donald Trump will not be president again based off of the agendas that's being pushed in this country. And Joe Biden is not going to handle the wishes of so-called Democratic parties and other lobbyists and other black Negro leaders in the so-called black community, because he is going to make sure he follows the Constitution of Authority and the executive order. Like I said, a bunch of delusional folks on both sides. So where I stand with it is about knowledge and understanding what's going on around me. What I'm starting to see is black folks delusional, white folks delusional too. Whether it's marching on Washington about Donald Trump, whether it's Joe Biden is going to save black folks all the way to the end. And we already know that ain't happening. Bunch of delusional ass shit to me.